The Church of Rock.
Out of Scotland. This is a friend of mine and also a musician and a producer and a really cool cat that I've never met in person, but we've gotten to know each other over the internet. We're doing some projects together, and we'll find out more about him right now. He's on the line. I think he's in Edinburgh. Are you there, Gogs?
I am indeed, Derek. How are you doing?
Great, man. I can hear you real well.
Cool. Good stuff. Yeah, I'm just outside Edinburgh, just down the coast in what they call East Lothian. So about 15, 20 minutes drive outside Edinburgh.
Oh, it's funny. Whenever I interview anyone from Scotland, I just automatically assume they're at Edinburgh. I don't know why I do that.
It's no problem.
Yeah, and here in Oregon, everyone assumes I'm in Portland, even though I'm 5 hours south of Portland. But they all think, oh, you're in Portland, Oregon, eh? I'm like, no.
It looks a wonderful part of the country. I'm looking forward to coming over. Hopefully with Pat sometime.
Well, yeah, that leads us right into it. You know, Gogs has been a musician for
Excellent.
many. When did you start playing music, Gogs, in your life?
Probably about 13. Self-taught myself the guitar. I played piano a little bit before that, but I'd got two brothers and a sister that were quite into music, and I think I was a little shit, to be honest. But I didn't keep my practice and stuff, so I sort of just turned away from it and let them go on with it, and then just picked up a guitar one day and just started practicing and took it from there. So about 13.
Wow. So would that be back in the 70s?
It would be, about 1979 to be precise.
Wow.
1980, around about then.
Okay,
Yeah.
because you told me previously that you have met Pat McGlynn, a mutual friend of ours, and of course, legendary rocker. You met him when you were like a teenager still, right?
I think it was about 19 when I met Pat. Must be about 1985, I think. It was a band we played in at the time called Fool's Gold. The manager of the band knew Pat, and Pat had a recording studio, and that's how I met Pat. We went up to record some songs at Pat's studio, so that was the start of my friendship with Pat. So yeah, a long time ago now.
Wow, you guys have known each other for ages.
A long time, yeah.
Have you guys done a lot of recording together over the years?
Funnily enough, not really, no. When we first met, obviously I was in another band, but then Pat got an offer from a promoter in the States to form a band and do a tour. So that was with Pat and Janine, and it was myself and my pal Darren, who was a bass player, and Pat's brother Danny, and we were all going to go over to the States and do a tour. The name of the band was Big Bang, but we discovered the promoter wasn't who he said he was, and I think he was just a fantasist, really. He was a Bay City Rollers fan.
Oh, man.
So it never happened. Yeah, it was just one of these things. It never happened. But you know what? After that, Pat asked me if I wanted to write some songs with him. So we spent about 2 years in the studio just having a lot of fun, trying to work out samplers and sequencers, and we recorded some stuff back then, but we've not done as much as we probably should have. But Pat's been down at mine now and again, and we've had some nice long chats and a few drinks, etc. And he's picked up the bass, or he's picked up the guitar, or he's done a bit singing here and there. So yeah, we've kept in touch all this time. So
hey, Gogs, did you get to know Pat's late brother Danny McGlynn very well?
I knew Danny a little bit, yeah. He seemed a really nice guy, and I remember Pat letting me hear a demo tape of Danny singing a good few years before I'd met him, but what a great singer he was, as well as a great guitar player. But I didn't really get to know him too well, but yeah, he was a really nice guy.
He seems like the recordings I've heard, he's such a talented guitar player, man.
As is Pat, yeah, the two of them. Pat's very modest, but he's a great guitarist. I learned a lot from Pat. When I was in my teenage years, I was into heavy metal, heavy rock, practicing all the super fast lead and all this sort of stuff. And I remember when I went to the studio with Pat, and he was doing a pretty chilled out, sort of little funky, soulful sort of thing with the guitar, which was only about 3 or 4 notes.
Yeah.
But just the rhythm, the sort of feel he had, and I tried it and I couldn't do it. I just couldn't get it together. And I thought, oh my God, I'm not nearly as good as I thought I was. Right. So Pat introduced me to that whole different style of sort of funky jazz music. Yeah, so I put that down to him.
That's super, super cool. What a great story, man. That's awesome.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, a lot of people have sent questions over. A few people were curious about, like me and you and how we know each other and stuff. And really, it's just a very strange situation how I kind of met you through Pat McGlynn. And now we have begun a little recording project through, the new way, like doing it through the emails and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
So I'm really excited, even though it's a slow process. I feel it coming together. I think we're going to end up having something really unique in the end.
Well, let's hope so. I think lockdown's obviously not helped with anyone trying to collaborate and do music or anything. But hopefully things are easing a little here in Scotland. I'm hoping that I can get Pat down in the next 2-3 weeks. So we've started some songs, as you know. There's a song that we actually originally recorded, probably in 1985, called Wanna Be. Gene sang the song.
Nice.
Unfortunately, back in these days, of course, it was before even CDs, I think, but you only had cassette tapes. And sadly, I don't think I've got. I've looked, and I don't think I've got any of the old cassette tapes with that original version on it. They might be on a 1/4-inch master tape somewhere, but goodness knows where that is. So we're going to redo that one, and obviously we've got a few other songs. We're going to do one of your ones. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it goes, but hopefully it's lockdown easing. We'll be able to move on with that project soon and look forward to seeing how it works out, and obviously meeting up with you too.
Yeah, I'm really excited to get over there. I'm getting my passport, man, April 5th, so things are starting to move on my end, and I've been I can get the vaccination very soon as well. I know Pat's got his vaccination, so GOGS, I'll be seeing you soon. Yeah, man.
Excellent. Look forward to it, Derek.
You were telling me that who else have you worked with besides Pat and stuff? Like, you were working with one of the guys that ended up singing for Genesis. Is that right or no?
Yeah, no, that's right. His name is Ray Wilson. He's a singer. Ray was a singer in our band Fool's Gold for a couple of years. I can't even remember when. It must have been late 1980s. And he ended up joining, I don't know if you remember Stiltskin.
Sounds familiar. Yes.
Yeah, I think they sort of came to fame. They had the Levi's jeans advert and the song. I can't remember what the song was called, but it was a hit, #1 here anyway. And then as a result of that, he got picked to replace Phil Collins in Genesis. I think he's a big star in Europe now, Ray.
Wow.
And he was a great singer. So yeah, I worked with him a wee bit. Trying to think of anyone else. I worked with Ted McKenna, the drummer. He used to be in Alex Harvey band.
Oh, nice. Alex Harvey, huh?
Yeah, Michael Schenker, Womack, Ted McKenna. He died a couple of years ago, sadly, but what a drummer he was. He was fantastic. So I joined a band called Highlander. I think about 1990, they had a record deal. They were a sort of Celtic rock band. I don't know if you've ever heard of Run Rig.
I don't know, but I love Celtic rock. It's a lot.
Yeah. So Highlander were a Celtic rock, so they did an album called Born to be a Warrior, which was all about Scottish history. So we did that, and Ted McKenna was a drummer on the record. So I met a lot of nice people through that, and we toured all over UK. We headlined at the Lorient Festival in Brittany in France in 1990.
Wow.
So it was good fun, did all that sort of stuff. Met John Martin, but I was recording with Highlander as well. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And actually, another thing that's just come to my mind, Highlander was actually formed by a guy called Alan McLeod, who was actually in the Bay City Rollers at one point.
Wow.
I don't think he was in the lineup that obviously got fame, but he was in the Rollers at one point, I'm sure, as well.
What era would that have been? 60s or later 80s? Or
I think he was a bit older than me, so I reckon it must have been the 60s or maybe early 70s. But it was obviously before they became world famous. So
one of our regular listeners and a friend of mine, Karen Lee in Rhode Island, America, she wanted to know if you ever got to meet the Bay City Rollers back in the day or at all.
Do you know what? I didn't. And it's funny because I remember being a few years younger than Pat. He'll not thank me for saying that, but we obviously knew who the Bay City Rollers were. But no, I didn't get to meet any. And it was when I met Pat for the first time. It's funny because as soon as I sort of saw his face, I thought, oh God, yeah, I recognise him. I recognise him from somewhere. But yeah, there's not many people obviously get to be in a successful band that had the sort of mass hysteria that the Rollers had. Beatlemania, Roller Mania.
Yeah.
There's no many others. So yeah, I think it must have been some ride that he's had part in his life, but he's a great guy, and we've been good pals for a long, long time now.
That's awesome, man. Did you ever get to meet the infamous Mr. Peyton Patton?
Thankfully not, by all accounts. No, I'm pretty glad I didn't get to meet him. A lot of dodgy people in the music business all over, I suppose, especially back then, and he was certainly up there with the best of them.
Yeah, I just had to ask.
No, thankfully I didn't get to meet him.
Yeah, that was another question from one of the listeners. Gogs, I was checking out your SoundCloud. You've got an awful lot of killer music available on there, man.
Thanks very much, Derek. It's very kind of you to say so. I've got hundreds of songs, to be honest. I've been into doing home recording for a while, and so I had a studio set up in my house, which wasn't great because I had kids who were young at the time, but I've managed to build a studio in my purpose-built studio in my garden now, so it's all soundproofed and it's great. I practically live there. I occasionally pop inside to get something to eat, and that's about it.
You got to come up for air once in a while, man.
Exactly. But yeah, I've just always got music in my head all the time, just trying to lay down ideas. Some work, some don't, and that kind of thing. So yeah, that's my thing. What's your
most besides the little project me and you and Pat are kind of doing? What else are you doing? You have like a regular band that you work with still these days?
The last band I was in was a great band. It was Gilchrist. I think you've maybe heard some of the Gilchrist stuff.
Oh gosh, I love that stuff.
Yeah, it's sort of rock, funk, soul, fusion, but it was great fun being in that band because we were an 8-piece band. We had a 3-piece horn section, and it was great fun. When it worked, it was great fun. Of course, the more people you got in a band, the more headaches you get because people don't turn up, people sort of lose focus, that kind of thing. So
yeah,
we're constantly having to get new horn players in. But when it worked, it was just brilliant. And me and my good friend Gary Fraser, otherwise known as Gags or the Paris. He was a singer, and Gary and I wrote a lot of songs. So, unfortunately, of course, lockdown just put paid to any kind of live music. So, not been doing any live music for a while now, but yeah, I've been doing loads of stuff in my studio. And hopefully, once lockdown's over, obviously, apart from the project with you and Pat, I'll hopefully get some other pals down to the Veer stuff as well. I'll let you hear some of the Veer stuff.
It's really confusing too. One day we were talking about gags and GOGS and everything got real confusing.
Oh, I know. I know. You imagine Gags and GOGS used to do lots of gigs. So yeah.
Oh my God.
Ridiculous.
Another variant. Yeah. That's hilarious, man. Gags, GOGS, gigs.
Yeah, it was indeed. But there you go. So hopefully, meet up, get together with these guys once lockdown eases, and just whatever happens. I'm just into doing music, so that's what I do.
Hey, man, if people would like to look up your music, which I know they're going to want to, a lot of people will probably be going, how do I find music from this guy? What do they do if they would like to find your music?
I think you just probably Google GOGS Anthony. My surname's spelled a bit different. It's Anthoney. So if you put GOGS Anthony, I think it'll probably come up with my SoundCloud page, hopefully.
Yeah, he's got so much stuff on there.
Yeah, I sort of like to write music. Well, I just pretty much write whatever comes into my head, and it could be anything from rock to pop to funk to sad ballads. I don't know, just whatever.
Yeah.
If I think it's worth doing, I'll do it. So yeah, I've got a mishmash of an eclectic mix in there. If people want to look up, that would be great.
Yeah, I think it's cool. Pop and rock and hard rock and soft rock. It really does go together if you arrange it in the right way to where it sounds good in the ears. I really think it's kind of cool to put these different sounds together,
Absolutely, yeah, and that's what I like doing. So, yeah, I think my friends will probably just get a bit blasé now because if I say I've got another song, do you want to hear it? They're like, oh yeah, because I sort of I send them a new one every other week, to be honest. So,
You're like a music machine. Well,
yeah.
you were cool enough to send over a song for me to play, which I'm going to do in a few minutes, and it's a tune we're going to play called A Place Called Desire. Is there anything you want to let us know about that tune?
No, I'm quite chuffed with the way that one came out, but that was written about a few years ago about, ironically, meeting friends after work on a Friday uptown in Edinburgh and just having a night on the tiles. A good sort of network of friends that we occasionally all get together. They all work all over the place. So I've got pal Bruce in Spain, got GOGS, of course, Pat, Shane, my friend who works offshore, John, trying to think. God, there's loads of them. Of course, can't forget Muzz Clark. He's the second best bass player in Europe, by the way. But yeah, we all get together and we just have a good night out. And that song was basically about that.
Nice. A Place Called Desire. So what I have to do, to be honest, Gogs, is to get to the song, which is on the same phone I'm talking to you on, I have to do something.
Okay.
So I'm going to play another song and do a little thanking of my underwriters, and then I'm going to come back in about 5 minutes, ladies and gentlemen, and we're going to hear this tune from Gogs. So I'm asking you to stick around to listen to that, which I know they will. And I want to say thank you, dude, for making the time to come on and chat with me today.
No problem. It's my pleasure, Derek. Anytime. Thank you very much.
Yeah, it was, I would like to play more of your stuff on the show down the road, so feel free to send stuff over that if you think it would fit on EARTHEART, I'd love to have it, man,
I mean, excellent. I think I could probably give you a song every week. You'd have enough for the next 2 or 3 years.
Well, we've also got the Church of Rock going in the evening, so if it's more hard rock, and we can go on that.
Oh, brilliant. That would be wicked, mate. Thank you very much indeed.
Yeah, is there anybody you want to say hi to or anything, man?
Absolutely. I'd love to say hi to my loving wife, Naomi, who's put up with a lot over the years. I think being married to a musician can be difficult at times, but I love her to death. My beautiful daughters, Molly and Amy, and my granddaughter, Nova. I know my brother, Douglas, is listening with his wife, Fiona, so big thanks to them. And anyone else who knows me, there you go. The old get out clause.
That's great, man. You got to give the love back for sure whenever you get a chance, and that's cool, bro. Well, Gogs, you're much appreciated. You're listening to KSKQ Radio. We are talking with Gogs. He's in just outside of Edinburgh, Scotland. A great musician and producer, and it's been a fun chat. It is our pledge drive, however, so I'm asking, please call 541-482-3999. We'll take any amount from you today. We just need to keep the bills paid so we can keep great broadcasting coming at you, which is real broadcasting with real people, real news, and real happy stuff, man. And Gogs, thanks again for being here, man. And we're going to play A Place Called Desire after I do a tune by the great David Allan Coe, and I'm going to thank my underwriter, but thanks again, Gogs.
Thanks very much, Derek. Speak to you soon.
Yep, cheers, and have a great evening.
Thank you. Bye now.
Cheers.